Just like how the theme of Renaissance was technology, I think the theme of Cowboy Carter is centered around radio, or more specifically, a Beyoncé radio station. And that could also be another reason why she said this is a Beyoncé album, because she's working in her own category while also creating in her own space without even thinking about whether she's wanted or accepted because it's hers. And to me, she's making a point by refusing to be boxed into whatever society expects or sees her as, and she's rejecting the limits that others try to place on her creativity while also making it her opportunity to show just how diverse and dynamic that creativity really is. And with that kind of risk, Beyoncé knows it comes with hate and criticism, and that's why I think she chooses to ignore it. And another reason being because of what she said in the Renaissance film.
The biggest growth in my artistry has come from overcoming failure, conflict, and trauma. But the next phase of my life, I want it to come from peace and joy. I am who I am, and you take me or you don't. It's a really beautiful, liberating place to be as a woman. And that's why I think 40s are the best. It's the best time of my life. I thought I was there at 30. No, it's getting better. Life is getting better. I spent so much of my life a serial people pleaser, and finally, I don't give a and I'm able to not give a about things unworthy of my energy, but still be myself and still be sensitive and empathetic. And it's not from a place of, being rebellious. I have nothing to prove to anyone at this point. I've allowed myself to just be free, but the freedom was different. Before, I would rehearse ad nauseum, so I was so prepared that I could be free. But this tour, I'm just free.
And for 2, because she understands that no matter what you do, even if it's something that almost everyone loves, there will always be someone with something negative to say. And that's what every creative should take away from the Beyoncé effect. Ignore the noise and just create, because there will always be something to say. But if my theory is right and Cowboy Carter is her way of building her own radio station with a Beyoncé-centered radio theme, it makes total sense, especially considering that when Cowboy Carter first dropped and a country radio station refused to play her music, the Beehive stepped in and checked them, which was very similar to how they treated her when she performed at the CMAs and faced backlash. And those moments were a part of what fueled this album. Beyoncé didn't just respond, she built her own platform, and her basing it around the true history is what makes it even better. But I also feel like Beyoncé's message with Cowboy Carter is not only about creating her own space, but also about proving that she doesn't need to be where she's not welcome, so she builds her own. And the reason I think this will be radio themed is because during Renaissance she had the KNTY 4 News setup complete with a news theme, and now in Cowboy Carter, Willie Nelson said,
"Welcome to the Smoke Hour on KNTRY Radio, Texas."
In one of the interludes, I feel like the news theme is evolving into a full radio station setup with KNTRY Radio Texas branding, just like the KNTY 4 News. And before I go into even more detail, don't forget to subscribe. Now, a similar way to break this down is by looking at how the Cowboy Carter playlist is set up. I've already told you that Beyoncé hides clues in her lyric videos, and if you still listen to the regular radio in your car, then you know the type of order it usually goes in first. They play a few songs, and those first few songs are American Requiem, Blackbird, 16 Carriages, Protector, and My Rose. I also want to add that Protector is a song for Rumi, and My Rose is a song for Sir, and Rumi is said to be the older twin, which hints at why her song was first. And I noticed this album is Act 2, and Rumi and Sir are a set of twins, which is 2, and this is Act 2, like I mentioned, so that tells you Beyoncé is intentional for putting these songs on this particular album. After those first 4 songs play, you have the narrator on the radio letting you know what's going to be playing next. In this case, it's Willie Nelson announcing Texas Hold'em as the next song before it plays. That's the interlude, and then the lineup goes Texas Hold'em, Bodyguard, then Dolly Parton's introduction to Jolene, followed by Daughter, Spaghetti, Alligator Tears, and then the Smoke Hour 2 with Willie Nelson again, but this time he's introducing Just for Fun. Then it goes into Two Most Wanted, Levi's Jeans, Flamenco, and then then The Linda Martell Show. Another thing I noticed here is that there's no lyric visual for this part. It only shows Beyonce's album cover, but then it continues with Ya Ya, Oh Louisiana, Desert Eagle, Riverdance, Two Hands to Heaven, Tyrant, Bodyguard, Sweet Honey Buckin', and lastly, Amen. And the playlist I'm talking about should pop up at the top for you to see how it's set up, but I also noticed that when we get to Amen, I feel like this album could be set up in the concept of a prayer, but what I'm not sure of is if the entire album is included in that prayer, or if American Requiem is the prayer alone, and Amen is the end of it alone. And this also connects to me noticing the cross and the saved license plate on the car in the video of the first Smoke Hour, and I theorized that Beyonce could possibly include her song Ave Maria since she teased it on her nails in the Cowboy Carter art book. And that's all of this on top of a radio being included in almost every lyric video, and also showing different parts of a radio station set up for different segments. If you think back to Renaissance, then you would think of the disco ball being the theme, so Beyonce's lyric videos included flashing colors, giving you the club experience, which further proves my point of evidence being in the lyric videos and why I make my theories about Beyonce based on the evidence and hints presented rather than just guessing, like the Willie Nelson part and the Dolly Parton part with the cup that has Dolly's face on it. It looks like that's Dolly's section of the radio station during her segment. But hope you enjoyed this video, and happy Cowboy Carter Day.